Today we're talking the #1 property investment strategy you should use to snowball your wealth. For those of you that have just found my channel, welcome. Make sure you hit the like button, and we do put out a heap of content on this channel, so make sure you smash that subscribe button and follow us along on this journey. Today, I'm talking what I'd consider the #1 investment strategy when it comes to investing in properties and snowballing your wealth. So, that method is what Bigger Pockets referred to as the BRRRR method. That's BRRRR. What it stands for is buy, renovate, rent, refinance, and repeat. So let's break this down for you. So the first part of the strategy is buying. And this is the reason I am standing in possibly the worst house that I've ever had the honor to sell. This place certainly needs a little bit of TLC. But this is the first step of the process, is to buy. You want to be buying property that you can either be buying at a discount or buying with an opportunity to manufacture capital growth. So when I say manufacture growth, I'm talking repairs. So if you're buying something that needs this level of work, obviously you need the time there to be able to allocate and project manage. Otherwise, if you are buying something that needs less work, you might be able to just change the carpets over, paint it and add value. So that's where you're looking for those, what Nick Kevin refers to as a wedge deal. So that's a property you're buying below market or that you can add value to. So like I say, this property, it's a doozy. So the second step in the BRRRR method is renovate. This is where you want to find a property that you can manufacture growth, or even if it's quite a reasonable property, there's often things you can do that will add a little bit of value. So that's things such as carpets, painting, might just be as simple as the property needs a new roof. You can change the roof over and that might add $30,000 or $40,000 worth of value, might only cost you $15,000 or $20,000 to do. So that's #2, is to renovate. The second step, and where people often go wrong, is they sell the properties instead of renting them. The beauty of holding onto properties rather than renting it is you're not creating a taxable event. So this is, you're not releasing profits, so you're not having to pay tax. So if you hold a property and rent it, you'll receive that cash flow coming in, plus you won't lose half of your profits to the tax man and to selling costs. So for instance, say you bought a property for $300,000, that property become worth $360,000. You sold it and took that 60 grand profit. By the time you cover selling expenses, pay taxes, pay legals, you might only end up with $30,000 or $40,000 out of that deal. So it is worth holding on to your properties, generating that cash flow from renting them rather than selling them. So that's a big part of this strategy, is to hold on to the properties and accumulate one after another, and that's what really starts that snowball effect. The fourth step is refinancing. So you've bought the property, you've renovated it, you've rented it out, and now you want to refinance. So as I was saying, rather than selling it, you can refinance to take your equity out of the deal, or cross-collateralize property. So use the equity of one property to help with the purchase of the next. And this is where that wealth snowballing really starts to take effect. So refinancing is a big step in this, in making sure that you're holding onto the property and growing that net position without losing profits to the tax man or in selling costs. Lastly is the best bit. This is where you get to repeat it. So this process and this BRRRR method is something I actually did myself without actually realizing this method had a name for it. We bought an absolute crack den, for lack of a better word. We then went in and renovated it. I'll show you some before and after photos. Instead of renting it, we did move into this property, but we were obviously saving money on renting, as this was our first home that me and my wife bought. We were able to live in it, saving on rent, so we sort of skipped that renting stage, but lived in it, much of a muchness. Lastly, we were able to refinance that property, and we gained about 100 grand of equity that's allowed us to go on and move in from one deal into the next. So that for me was a huge positive, and really started our investment journey, that first property that we were able to manufacture so much wealth. And that has allowed us to move on to now we do own 4 properties that we've managed to buy in 3 years. So that's what I consider the best property investing strategy there is. So that's the BRRRR method, BRRRR. Basically buy, renovate, rent, refinance, repeat. If you have liked this video and you agree that this is one of the worst houses you've ever seen, make sure you smash that like button and subscribe. We do bring out some great content here and I love sharing my concepts with you.